大家好，今天阳光非常的明媚，今天呢也非常的高兴能够代表 King's College， 2018年艺术展览的筹委会的一名义工来给大家介绍一位今年参加 King's College 艺术展的一位特别的艺术家。今天呢，我们是在 Titirangi Village。如果您到 Titirangi Village 来过的话呢，您会发现这是一个布满着丛林和那个艺术家居住的地方。可能您走在路上不经意就可能碰见的迎面过来的一个人，就可能是一位很特别的艺术家。那么今天呢，我们就介绍一位这样的艺术家，他的名字呢就是 Martin Horspool。那么现在可以跟着我们的镜头一起到这个 Martin 的家里去看看。
So yeah, 你好.
Hi.
Yeah.
你好 Martin.
Yeah. Thanks for coming along to our house here up in Titirangi. I'll show you around and show you what I do and the work that I've been making.
I can't wait.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Come into the house and have a look.
Oh, thank you so much.
Sure. So inside the house here, we've got this is some of my artwork, as well as doing some paintings.
And drawing.
Some drawings, which I really enjoy, but my main hobby is like making art objects from like vintage and used appliances that I sort of collect from all over the place. So for instance, this one here, it's using original deer's antlers. This is 1960s drill, and this is off bathroom scales. This is off an old Toyota sewing machine. That one there, and I've got these. This is like a brake caliper from an old push bike, and these are parts of a film projector, and yeah, and it's all mounted.
All sorts of
There's no welding. I just assemble it all together by using nuts and bolts, and I make my own brackets. This bracket here is part of a New Zealand number plate, like a license plate.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So as well as that, I make mostly make robots.
Robots.
Yeah.
What's the name of this robot?
Oh, this one is called Retinax.
Retinax.
Yeah, it's on the tin there, and it's
the brand name.
Yes, indeed. So this has got some like vintage handles on it. These are clamps off where you clamp onto your car battery.
Yes.
You know.
And I see some stamps there.
Yeah. These.
The dates.
That is that's a clock off an old tape cassette machine. That's like a counting clock.
Oh, yes.
This is an old like a pen torch. This is off a 1960s lamp. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. That's a volume switch off a radio. This has got like a little music box on it.
Even make some sounds.
Yeah, that's a drawer handle. These are these little cake decorative cake trays. You know?
Tray.
So from a collection of old appliances and old things, and that inside there is.
I see.
That's an old dial from a like a vintage car.
Vintage car.
So I sort of quite enjoy playing around and creating characters, you know. Yeah.
So when did you start to discover your passion on robots?
I've always enjoyed robots, of course. As a child, you know,
Really?
I always had a fantasy about owning lots of robots, but now I've started. Now I build my own. I can create my own style instead of trying to search for the perfect one. I can make my own perfect one.
Okay.
Yeah, you know.
Some robots.
Yeah, I mean they vary in size from like a tiny little baby one. That one's called Hanzoku, and it's sort of inspired by like a Japanese rockabillys with the big hair and the big quiff and like the rock, like the rock and rollers. And then this big one here that's sort of probably one of the like the bigger ones, and it's got a similar sort of hair.
Yes.
And yeah, but it's certainly that's about the average size, and like that one too. The biggest I've made a couple of like full size, like human, like human size ones for like a music festival arts trail called the Explore Festival. So they were quite big, and they one had lights inside it, and I had some music playing from inside it, and then the lady robot had like a bubble blowing machine that came out of her stomach, and lights.
Interesting.
So as well as that, I'm making I've done a series of these like sort of model motorbikes, and these are like trolley wheels. These are parts of a printing press. That's part of a bumper of a 1960s vintage car. That's off a small compressor. That's a pneumatic gauge. That's off a radio. These are like brake levers from a bike. And then we've got that's a 3-speed gear changer for push bike. And that the back of the seat is off it's a scoop for sweets, mounted on top of the top of a toolbox. Yeah. Okay. So I enjoy making things all the time, you know.
Introduce all the artworks piece for us.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I saw this is the table.
Yes.
It's made by you?
Yes. It's I think the buzzword these days is like upcycling. So I've kind of like upcycled it from it was beautiful. Like it's a vintage American artist's suitcase. So where they put their paints in here, and the slots where they put the different canvases or drawings, and then I've attached, and it's a beautiful thing in itself with its rivets and its hinges and the details and the corners, and I've put it on and I've mounted it onto legs that were, I think their legs were originally on a like
table?
1960 1960s side table. So I've kind of like I've put it on its head, and I've made it into something different and decorative and beautiful, you know?
It is. So what all these logos, stickers came from?
They're all original 1960s original American stickers.
I can see this is the airplane company.
Airplane company. It's a beautiful thing.
So it's a time memories.
Yes, part of the vintage museum look that we've got in the house.
Wonderful. I hear you have been to China last year.
Recently. Yes.
How do you feel about that trip?
It was an amazing trip. Yeah, I was very fortunate. There were 5 of us artists from New Zealand. We went on a trip to Chengdu in the Sichuan province. We were there to, as well as to absorb some Chinese culture. It was culture and art trip. We were there to show off some New Zealand art in the Chengdu Design and Creativity and Design Week. In a massive exhibition space that was huge, of course.
So you guys were invited by the Moonlight Art Gallery?
It was linked in with the Moonlight Gallery, and then there's Nongyuan Art Village, which are really huge. They're very influential, I think. They're very, very supportive of arts. So we, as well as going there and being in China, we got to see, we went to see like some of the history of like the different designs of like Silk Museum and the different designs. See some like old history, and we were shown and explained a lot about like Chinese art with the sort of
traditional
traditional landscapes. And we got to meet some really incredible contemporary artists. And we visited their studios and we saw how they worked and we were welcomed. We drank tea with them and spent some time. And
did you make some artworks there?
Yeah, I did some. I had a go. We were allowed to have a go with the big rice paper and the ink and water with the pens.
That's very traditional.
Yeah, we were shown how to do it.
Yes.
Yeah, so I got some of those paintings I brought home and did it in my style and tried to replicate.
To combine in your own art creation.
Yeah, so that
great.
was really cool. And then we got to paint on some ceramic. We did some ceramic paintings.
Yes.
And we collected that was all fired, and we collected that before we came back to New Zealand.
Oh,
it was great. Got treated really well.
Yes.
I really enjoyed, especially in the morning. As soon as it was light, I'd go off walking. I'd go walking for an hour and a half before breakfast, and I'd see all the people doing exercises and badminton and tai chi. And I joined the ladies, the line dancing thing.
Wow!
One morning, it was fun.
Yes,
it was funny.
We call that a square dancing.
Yes.
Yes. So it's a good for exercises.
Yeah, it was fun.
Yeah. Can you tell us what is the age group of your audience for your artworks? It's
all sorts really, and people enjoy it. People enjoy it for different reasons, I think.
Yes.
So from like children, they see it as like a fun toy robot, even though they're not toys,
Yes.
And then people find it interesting because it's things they haven't seen before. As people are maybe like 20-year-olds, they see objects that they've never seen before, and it's a combination of things. And then as people get older, people getting towards my age, and then older again, they recognise all the parts.
And bring some memories.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. Yeah. Because you see it all the time, especially older people. They say, that's part of a typewriter.
When they was young.
That's part of a typewriter, and like children don't know what a typewriter is because it's all touchscreen these days.
Yeah.
As well as making robots and the trophy heads, I make a series of I've done a series of dogs as well, and I've made a couple of cats in the past. It's a little bit difficult. I had to do like somebody's personalised cat. Tricky, but possible. Yeah, I quite enjoy making funny little character dogs, and they have like their own sort of funny personality, and as well as the dogs, this is one of the very first things that I made. I was just sort of experimenting, and I put some pieces together, and I was sort of quite happy the way it came out. It's got like a saw blade and an old lamp, and these are like fondue forks.
Yes.
Yeah. And
what's his name?
I think that one is called Insecto.
Insecto.
And this one is Dewi Buzz. It's named after a teacher that we had in Wales who was a beekeeper. Yeah, Dewi Buzz. And that's made of a bellows from a smoke blowing bellows from a beekeeper's collection, and fondue forks and fish slice for cooking. And I've done a range of made these cute little spoons, and these jars here, which we have quite a few jars, and we keep our different teas in the jars, and they're good for storing food. So I've got some of these for the King's College the art show box there as well.
Yes.
It's just like smaller pieces. Yeah, and these robots here are going in the show. And I finished this one off yesterday. This is like personalised for a Scottish guy.
Yes.
And I posted a funny little animation on Instagram.
Yes.
Of this one today. Yeah. So more. This is. I can't stop making things.
All your babies.
Yes, indeed. All shapes and sizes. Yeah. And then you can see this is kind of like where it came from. This is an illustration. This is my sort of insect illustration, which is where my style of design comes from. Now, as well as drawing sort of robots and sort of fantasy things, and having fun with kimonos and more insects and sort of more more like technical drawings. I get a lot of pleasure from rescuing beautiful objects that they've been made, say, 60
redundant.
They've been made 60 years ago. They've had a good life. Maybe they've been part of a car and it's had a good journey, and then the car's broken. Then it's been sat in a field, and then the car's been stripped down, and then it's gone to the scrapyard, and it's the saddest part of this object's life. And then I've come along and I've rescued it, this part, and then I've rebuilt it and I've put it into something that was kind of like live again, celebrating it again for what it was. You know, it's been manufactured and designed, and then it's been given a second birth.
Exactly.
Instead of like being squashed and melted down.
And redundant, forgot.
Yeah, and then melted down and come back as some ugly appliance from 2000.
So that is a kind of a recycle of the life. That's beautiful.
And it's celebrating the beauty of that older design period, you know, which I appreciate a lot. Okay, when I first started making them, I had a small box of parts, and I used to make it on the outside table when we lived in the city. Okay. Then I converted the attic in the house, so we got a drop-down ladder. Okay. And I used to hide everything up in the attic. And then you can see the ceiling was bending because I used to collect a lot of metal.
Heavy.
And then we eventually moved here. Okay. So, and we've had a little studio built in the garden, which is where I spend most of my robot making days. I pop down there, and when I come back with some bits and pieces, which is like most days, I'll scuttle off down there and file things away because I'm a fairly clean and tidy person. I've got a place for everything, and then I start to assemble and...
Well organized.
Oh, I could be there from 9 till 5.
So it's a
and I'll pop up for a coffee and a sandwich or something halfway through.
Can you show us your workshop?
Yeah, sure thing. Yeah,
okay, let's go.
We'll pop down to the bottom of the garden, and I'll show you where the magic happens. So this is my little workshop, and it's 10 square meters, and it's the perfect size, and it's small enough to be compact, and it's not too big to be it's a small space that helps me keep it tidy,
accessible.
Yeah. If it was a lot bigger, I'd be
lost.
I'd be piling things up. I do have I have a storage space underneath the house where I put a lot of my bits and pieces, but I keep all my favourite and more decorative objects in here that I can, you know, because I enjoy the feeling of it. I want it to look like a vintage sort of museum shop.
Yes.
Like a
I
collection
have visited some of the vintage museum in New Zealand when we travel around.
Oh yeah, indeed.
South of North Island.
Yeah, so I mean, even the details that we've got here, I bought that in an auction, and I had to have it because it's such a beautiful lamp, and it's great. And so this is where I spend most of my time, mostly standing up. This is my desk.
Can I have this?
Yeah, sure.
What are you going to make for this?
That one there, yes. That's a brush from like a fireplace brush. So that's going to be the top of a head, and
robot.
Yeah, and I think I'll be attaching these eyes onto it, maybe like that.
And then
and then I'll probably find, it'll probably be some sort of like a jaw piece underneath there, and then that will be mounted on top of that.
Yes.
And then I've got these old these old door handles, which will be making into the arms. Then I'll sort of make some sort of legs. And I think these old
okay.
I think for jelly these are going to be the feet. So that's the
parts.
Yeah, that's the next
of
thing.
Your robot.
Yeah, and then I've been making some of these like vintage spoons. I've got some of these. I've got an exhibition coming up in the King's College.
Right.
So I've got some spoons and I have some little pieces as well as bigger pieces too, which is nice. So yeah, I really enjoy showing these things off, because even like yesterday I bought that.
You bought it yesterday?
Yes.
Wow.
It's like a vintage 1960s tin, and it's got all these pastry cutters.
Cutters,
Yeah.
Where did you find them?
I can't tell you.
Okay. Okay, you can keep the secret.
No, it's a great shop called Junk and Disorderly. Yeah, people collect these, and they have some sort of value.
Yes.
But I know that I'm going to be stripping this down into components, so that it'll, I'll use all these bits.
Disassemble them.
Yeah, like these will be perfect legs. Obviously, yeah. And then I'll probably make some of the sculpture out of the tops. And then I love. A friend gave me this. A friend from New York came over and he gave me this, and he bought that in Argentina.
Wow.
So that's travelled a long way. That's come from Argentina to New York to New Zealand.
So every piece has its own journey and life.
Yeah, definitely.
And come to the destination.
Yes.
That's in Titirangi.
Yeah, and then
workshop.
Yeah, indeed.
That's
so yeah, everything's had a journey of some sort.
Yes.
And then it's
That's an interesting piece of art.
Yeah, I made that. Just as an experiment. I don't know what to do with it. It's just hidden in here for now. It's a moving one. I've got not many of my things do anything. People ask, what do they do? Mm-hmm. You make robots. What do they do? They say, well, they don't do anything. They're just sculptural. They just look nice in my eyes. But this has got a motor on it, and the jaw opens and closes. I bought a windscreen wiper motor and a DC converter, so as it runs and the mouth goes up and down. Yeah.
When did you get that idea? When you see one piece, but you can imagine that will be used in your next artwork. So how can you get that kind of imagination?
I don't know. I think I was born with it. Maybe, I don't know. I've always been looking at. I've always been. Even when I was in school doing history, I'd always be like drawing mechanical creatures. Or mechanical insects, or insects with pneumatic legs. I don't know. I think it's something that I've always been interested in. Yeah, I think so. Can't explain it. That's what I do.
Many artists have the same answer for that question.
Yeah. I can't explain it. But I love vintage mechanics. Even though I'm not a brilliant mechanic, I enjoy stripping things down. But I very rarely put things back together as they should be.
That's great.
Yeah, I know that people are a bit shocked when they. I'll buy an old vintage typewriter, and people can't believe I'll actually take it all apart and not keep it as it is. But that's the way it is, So I file everything away. These are off an old fridge. The fridge doors. More fridge doors.
So someday they will become to one of the robots.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, so there's more. There's even more beautiful old fridge handles. You
have the ability to see the beauty of the parts or objects.
Yeah, there is a lot of beauty in like vintage objects. The furthest away would be physically. There's probably in Scotland.
Wow. How can you send your robot there?
I posted one to Scotland about 2 years ago. Somebody bought one over the internet, and they got in touch with me. Said,
so somewhere in Scotland, they.
I've built 350 odd plus robots since I started doing this. I've been making robots. I've been making like metal art only for about 12 years now, since I realised that I could do it. I had a eureka moment when I realised that I could transform my sort of drawings, my funny sketchy drawings that I do, and my illustrations, and I realised that I could make it into real by using my love of vintage parts.
Yes.
So I've made over 350, way over, and I only possess now 6 or maybe 10 robots. So the rest are everywhere. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. There's a friend of mine in New York who's got 6 of my robots. There's another friend who's got 1, 2, 3, 4 in New York. There's another guy just outside in New Jersey who's got 3 of my robots.
Are you just
there's
happy they are far
6
away
in
from
Holland.
You? Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And there's heaps in the UK.
Oh great.
Yeah. There's 2 in Brunei. There's 1 in Japan. There's 2 in an exhibition there's a massive exhibition of steampunk art in Beijing.
Oh.
So I've got 2 in there.
So it's
there's
all of the world.
18 in Guangzhou.
Yes.
Yes. There's 2 in Chengdu. So they're all over there, well represented around the world. Yeah.
Are you still kind of connected with them, or?
No. People. If people have my robots, I quite like them to send a picture of where they are living now. Yeah. So as I know, it's nice to see where they are.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, this is the first year you have been invited to the King's College
Yes.
art show. Do you have any expectation of the art show? Or?
I don't know, because I've never been to it before.
Yes.
But certainly it's up there with they have a lot of art there, and they have
definitely.
they have a huge turnover of
Art sale.
Art sale. Yeah. They sell a lot of work there. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward to going there and meeting the other artists and seeing
That's great.
what goes on. So I'm taking 2 robots about so big. This piece here I'm taking 2.
Oh, great.
This is like a wall-mounted moose head, and this is off. These are the strikers, like the hammers off a piano.
Yes. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yes.
And like a vintage torch. This is a beautiful old, it's one of those winding pencil sharpeners.
Pencil sharpener. Oh, yeah, pencil sharpener.
Yeah, which is great. I mean, so unusual
Yes,
to find something like that. Yeah, so that little character, and then that's the base of a bathroom scales, badge off a car.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and bits of torches. Yeah, that's so that's going to be in the sale as well.
Oh,
That's
I
nice.
think someone will collect them.
Yeah, I think so. I had an exhibition. My biggest one was 3 years ago in New York. I had a great show there.
Okay, it's your individual exhibition, or? Oh.
Yeah, it's my own sort of solo show in a gallery in Manhattan, which was incredible. Yeah,
It is.
And like sold everything apart from one.
Okay.
So that was really
Successful.
Yeah, it was great success.
Oh,
Yeah, it was
great.
fantastic. And I've had a few exhibitions in Auckland before that, and then one the same year in Auckland.
Okay. So,
But recently I've been making a lot of commissions, like personalised ones. I made one for a brain surgeon, made one for a doctor. I made a brain surgeon robot.
Robot. Yes.
Yeah, that was amazing. It was fantastic for like a female. I had to make it like a female robot, and it was kind of like green. It was in like hospital green colours, and There was and lots of funny little intricate tools. It was really, really cool. And
okay.
that
I hope we can see that photo sometime.
I made a Maori robot, Maori style one, and with did some engraving on it. And
okay.
Like the Maori sort of hair, top knot, and a cape. And,
yes,
there's a lot of
traditional.
a lot of Maori sort of emblems on it. That was fun. That was a fun project. I don't think there's ever been like a Maori robot before.
So you add so much personality and features of your robot. That's a great job. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome.
So we wish our art will go well.
Oh yeah, I'm sure it will.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I believe your artworks will be collected by someone.
Yes.
Okay. Well, thank you so much.
Oh yeah, you're welcome.
So
it's nice to share my space with you.
Oh, thank you. I think our audience will be very appreciate and enjoy your home museum.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
新中传媒，新西兰唯一涵盖广播电视、报纸、杂志及新媒体的中文全媒体传播集团，以专业态度缔造传媒行业影响力，以全媒体思维整合纸媒、电台、杂志、新媒体等传播平台，全力为新西兰、中国与世界之间架起一座沟通的桥梁。新西兰全媒体一站式推广，唯有新中传媒。